Hello and welcome to another eCar Charging Suite tutorial. You have decided to extend your application and add new charging points. I will show you how to do that during this video. The big advantage of a multi-point charging system is that you can expand your number of connectors, i.e., add new charging points over time. This presupposes, however, that the hardware can be well expanded, but also that the software is easy to adapt. We paid particular attention to this during the software development. It should be as easy as possible to expand and adapt this number of charging points. I will show you now how that is done. We are now back in our initial project described in the last video. If we now want to expand our connectors in terms of hardware, we first have to go to Devices and Networks. However, this is only necessary if we also have a hardware setup. If we do not have this, we can skip this step. Once we are in Devices and Networks, we have to jump to the remote box and open it. Here we now see our TM-ECC module. This is responsible for managing 2 charging points. If we now want to use 4 charging points, we have to add another TM-ECC module. To do this, we select these 3 modules and move them so that we create another spot next to the TM-ECC module. Then we go to the hardware catalog and search for TM-ECC. There, we end up in the folder TM-ECC2x-PWM, from which we then drag the corresponding module and insert it into our hardware configuration. Now our hardware configuration has 2 more charging points. Next, we have to change the whole software and add 2 more charging points. For the simulation, it is now important to re-enter the number of charging points and to adjust the corresponding variables. To do this, we open PLC 1, go to PLC tags, and to User. Then open the configuration table under User Constants and increase our number of charge poles to 2 and these to 4. Then we go to the PLC, right-click, press Compile, and select Software Rebuild All. Now we compile the whole project again and adjust the arrays to the appropriate number of connectors. Once all settings have been made in TIA-Portal, we now have to adjust the settings of the gateway. To do this, we open the configuration JSON of the gateway. We now have to make some adjustments, starting with the connector max current. The values for the first and second connector and for the station are already entered here. We now have to enter the values for the third and fourth connectors. To do this, I copy this entry once, put a comma after it, and insert the copied values. Enter the 3 and 4 here. Then we search the settings with Ctrl+F for connector phase rotation. And here, we also have to make the other settings for the connectors. Again, I copy the first and the second, and paste the 3 and the 4 here. These values are also only really important if we have a hardware configuration. Next, we have to enter the values for the connector voltage measure. Again, we repeat the whole process like before. Then comes the installation max current. Again, we have to enter the corresponding values. We now make the last setting for the number of connectors. Here we enter the 4. Now we have made settings for the gateway and can repeat the whole process to start the gateway and the TIA project, as shown in the last video. Once we have loaded the new TIA project into the controller and started the gateway, we are ready to work with the new 4 charging points. As you can see, not so many settings are necessary for this. I hope I could help you to expand your application to a new number of charging points, and I hope you will also tune in for the next video. It will be about load management, which is part of eCar Charging Suite. Thank you for your attention and see you next time.